Hey, Peewee here. Just out driving some back roads this morning, heading into town. Gonna make a couple of stops. And some of the footage that you just saw on the intro of this video were just some back roads, some of DeKalb County's beauty. Listen, you don't see some of that stuff without getting on these back roads. So that's kind of the way life is. You got to get off the beaten path a little bit to see some wonderful things. Listen, I want to share something this morning that I touched on at the end of the service Sunday morning at our church. It wasn't on Facebook Live. It was after the live feed. So I was probably down front just talking for a minute. And I said something like this. I talked about how that we were coming out of the pandemic. We know that there's still some folks getting COVID and seeing some sickness, some variants and things like that. And so we know that's some of that's going on, but we are back to normal in a ton of ways. And but church attendance, not just at here in DeKalb County, but church attendance all over is off. It's off. Now there's some churches that aren't seeing their numbers being lowered a little bit, but most churches, most pastors I run into will tell you that it's just off. Maybe they're at about 75% of where they were before COVID. And we could say a number of things. We could say that people have gotten out of the habit of coming to church. And I've got another video that covers this kind of thing. From maybe even a year ago. I don't know. Maybe I'll put a link up in the corner there. But the people say, well, I'm out of habit. I got out of the routine. And what I landed on Sunday at the end of the service, I landed on the fact that God doesn't want us to have habit like going to worship or going to church as a habit or a routine. Now, I know you're going to think, Brother Jason, that's a good habit and it's a good routine. Listen, what he's after is something that goes beyond habit. And what he's deserving of is something that goes beyond our routine. What he's needing from us, and really what we should give him, is priority. High priority. And I would just say this, from the pandemic, from when it came and what it did, and then to now, we've had a shift in priorities. And people, listen, if the Lord was a priority before the pandemic, and you kept him a priority through the pandemic, regardless of the ability to worship and attend church like we wanted to, there were times there where the schedule was off. But if a person, even if their church schedule was off a little bit because of the pandemic, a person can still walk with God and make their walk with God a priority. And so if walking with Jesus was a priority before the pandemic, and then through the pandemic, even though we didn't have some of the things that help us, I get it, but if we kept him a priority, kept walking with the Lord as a priority, regardless of the circumstance, then we come out of the pandemic and he's still a priority. And what's happened, I believe, is that some folks, maybe before the pandemic, perhaps church attendance and coming to church and being engaged in and through their congregation, maybe that was a routine. Maybe it was a social thing. I don't know. But then coming out of the pandemic, it's something that they view that maybe they don't need the social aspect of it. Maybe if that was why they were coming, they realize they don't need that. But there's a priority shift. There's a change in priority. And someone could say, well, if we're coming to church and we're not really into what's going on, I'm not sure if that helps. I get that too. We need to come with the right heart. But we have a better chance. We have a better chance of following after God and walking in his priorities for our life or our lives if we regularly attend church and engage in worship, engage in a Sunday school class or a small group Bible study. We have a better chance of walking in the priority God has set for us when we are engaged in our local church. So maybe this video is out there to say, hey, listen, maybe you say, well, I got out of the habit, Brother Jason or Peewee. I got out of the, the routine. I changed my routine. I'm just going to say this. Well, just scratch those words and quit thinking of it that way, and make worshiping God and following after God and engaging in and through his church, make that a priority. Make it a priority. Today, people are needing the Lord in their life. And we've got times that seem very turbulent when you look at the economy, what's going on in the world. We have a war going on in Ukraine that the news will cover, and then they don't cover for a while. Then we've got all the division in this country that we have. I heard someone say the other day that the biggest division we have in our country is between the people and then what our government leaders are trying to accomplish. That there's a great division there because our leaders have no idea what we as the working class need or what we're looking for. So we've got all these things going on in our lives, in our country, in this world. And I'm telling you, we need to stay grounded in the Lord, and we have a better chance of that happening if we make the Lord a priority, if we make attending church and attending worship and Sunday school a priority. We're not designed to be lone rangers. We're not. And if we think that the public square is going to help our walk with God, we are mistaken. Now, we've got friends that we talk about Jesus with throughout the week. I get that. But on a regular basis, everyone down the street in the community, we're not going to have our faith strengthened by just people down the road. No, God's given us the church. He's given us one another. So I want to encourage you today, as I'm riding back roads and now I'm in town, I want to encourage you to, listen, if you got off the path, today I've been off the beaten path driving, but if you got off the path a little bit during this pandemic or now, listen, come back. I was on a back road a moment ago, and I went down a little road I've never been down, and I was at that point where I'm thinking, you know what, I don't know if there's anywhere to turn around. I was thinking, you've ever been on those little gravel roads, you're thinking, this thing gets like more narrow as I go. And as I was going down that road, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to turn around. But, lo and behold, there was a place to turn around. And I turned around, and I found my way back out of that holler. That's right, holler. And found my way back out to the asphalt. And now I'm in town. I guess what I'm saying is there's a place to turn around. Maybe you're in a situation where it's time for you to turn around. That's repentance. Turn around, make the Lord a priority, and walk toward him. Listen, that is Living in Liberty with Peewee today. A little preachy today, but hey, listen, I'm a preacher. You're riding shotgun with me. We're in my truck, and hey, listen, I worship while I'm in my truck. I preach a little bit, and today the Lord's speaking. So anyhow, let's hear what the Lord has to say to us. Take care, and see you again next time. If you like these videos, hit the like button and subscribe, and share this on Facebook and other social media platforms with your friends. That way these videos will pop up for people, and these little words, this little devotion I give, that's why I do these things. Now, I like the small town rural, and I like some of the fun stuff, but I'm telling you, it's about God using this small town rural life that we have really to point people to Jesus, and that's what I'm about. Hey, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.